Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Chazak event. And the topic we chose tonight is, it's called Shmirat Habrit, which means the obligation of the Jewish man and woman, of course, to live in modest standards. And I would encourage you to ask all your questions, because I know I get a lot of questions, and they always repeat one of each other. Maybe if I answer it online, it will give me some time to breathe. Every Monday, like tomorrow, I'm speaking right here, a few blocks away from here, routine. Every Monday, 8 o'clock, in different topics, every week different topic, on 9907 66th Avenue. Just remember, 66th Avenue, corner of 99th Street, in a big shul. There's a shul, there's a side entrance, you go in, every Monday at 8 o'clock. Everyone who wants to know where I speak, instead of sending me text and emails, all you have to do is to go on divineinformation.com. On the top you have events. It's updated. 99% of the lectures I put in, unless if it's a private event. But all the public lectures are there. You don't need to call. You just go in, you check, it shows you the date, the address, the topic, everything you need to know. If there's going to be Chinese food, it's also safe. It's not going to double the amount of people who comes. This is where we live in. The food brings the people more than what the Torah does. All right. Anyway, before I start, any questions up to now? Everything is clear? What I said about the announcement? Okay, so let's move on. Starting, everything I'm going to say is based on the book of Rabbi Aaron Rata, which published a very important book when it comes to modesty. It's called Shomer Emunim. What's great about that book, that besides speaking about the high level, the high standards of modesty in the eyes of God, it's also speaking about the afterlife, heaven, hell, some of the things that happen to the wicked people. If they're brave, they can go and read this book and see where they headed, if they're not going to change. But this book is not recommended for an average learner, average beginner. It's more for people in high level of learning. They should go to this kind of books. I made once a lecture, a video, about the 7 different places in hell, 7 different places, and I never published it. It's not on the website, it's not on the internet, anywhere. The reason is, for every 10 people who would listen to it, 3 will be extremely encouraged, and 7 will be extremely discouraged. It will take them away from the love of the Torah. They will be so upset from how strict is the judgment, so it doesn't pay, because not everyone can handle the truth. Some people cannot handle the truth. You have to give them 10-20% of it, not more. You give them too much, they see how strict it is, they run away, they don't want to know. Unfortunately, people live in a fake generation. Everything around us is fake. Society is very, very rotten. The music we hear, it's worse than garbage, but we are not aware of it. The way people dress, the way people talk, all the lies you hear from morning to night, no faith in God, nobody really believes in God. Even people who walk with yarmulke and beard, they have doubts about certain things in the Torah. It's people who can keep Shabbat 3-4 years, after 4 years they send me an email if they can keep only a part of the Shabbat. After 3-4 years, he keeps fully Shabbat. It's very hard for him. He's a single guy. His parents don't keep. So he's saying, I'm sure God will understand if I keep some of the Shabbat. Better than nothing. You understand where we live in? A person knows that this is the eternal covenant. And after 3-4 years that he was able to keep, so, since his family don't keep, I understand. It's not an easy test. So he's considering now to go back to square one. You understand? So this is where we live in. But since this is where we are, it makes the situation much, much harder. That's why not everyone is capable of hearing it. Someone who is connected to Torah, he has a rabbi, he's close to his rabbi gives him the right information that he needs to know, and he's a requester of the truth, because it's also natural. Some people born like that. I look at my own children, I see there's different souls. One all day speaks to me about the parsha. All day, 5 years old. Every 5 seconds. Haba, who is the father of this? Who is the father of that? Who was born first? Which parsha is first? What parsha come after this? 500 questions per day, if I'm in home. And the other one, even if you talk to him about it, is already counting the second when it's going to be over. So you see, from young age, it's depends what soul came from previous life. If it's a filthy soul, or if it's a pure soul. Some souls have small corrections to make. Some souls have a lot to correct. The harder the job is, that means this is your particular mission in life. Particular mission. If it's hard for you Shabbat, that's your main test. If modesty is hard for you, that's your main test. If kosher food is hard for you, that's your main test. Believe it or not, some people, everything can be easy for them. Tefillin, it's hard for them. 2 minutes a day to put tefillin, say Shema, it's perhaps the easiest mitzvah, it's hard for them. Some people to pray, just to stand 10 minutes in front of Hashem and pray, it's very hard for them. They can never focus, they're always thinking what's outside, what's going to be in a business, this. So everyone has his main test in life. I want to start this lecture with the words of the Rambam. The Rambam, in chapter 21, in the laws of Isurei Biyah, forbidden relationships, forbidden relations. The Rambam says like this. Of course, whatever the Rambam say, not one word comes from his own opinion. Judaism, it's not express your emotions and your opinions. It's like you go to college, when you have a novel, somebody wrote, I don't know, Shakespeare, whatever. He wrote a novel, and now they teach you in college, or in school, or in high school, and you learn the story of whatever it is. Okay, so now, nobody really cares if you go deeply into the mind of the author and know what he meant while he was writing it. Doesn't matter. As long as it brings the greatness out of you, and you are impressed, and you express it in your own ways and your own words, and everybody says his own story, what the author meant, it's fine. But you cannot learn the Tanakh like this. The Tanakh, it's not Macbeth or anything else of Shakespeare or all the other things. No. The Tanakh, you must know what was the attention of the writer. If you don't know what God meant, everyone will interpret it in his own way based on his emotions and his opinion. You're going to have 5 million different kinds of Judaisms. Which one you'll belong to? As it is right now, there's so many cults in Judaism that are going off the way. They think they're extremely righteous, but they are dreaming, they're not in the right direction. They think we are extra, we are the commander of Judaism. We are like this, we are like that, we fight on the street, we throw stones, we burn places. They think this is the way of the Torah. Nobody is going to mess with us. If they're not going to accept it with a nice way, we will force them to do. That's not the way of the Torah. That's not what God is interested in. But anyway, so the Rambam, this is what he writes. He writes, כל הבעל הערווה מן האריות, every person who had a forbidden relation, or even hugged, or kissed with desire, or body to body, any one of the forbidden, not talking about his own wife is a mitzvah, it's no problem. It's talking everything that is forbidden on a person in the time of the act. He's violating many, many sins from the Torah, not one or two, many different sins. One sin is, lo tikrevu legalot erva. Don't come near that you have a forbidden relationship. Then it's destroying the holiness of the person. Then is, lo taturu achre levavchem v'achre enechem asher atem zonim acharehem. Don't follow your eyes and your heart that makes you make sins of prostitutions. Zonim comes from the word zona. Zona, it's a prostitute in Hebrew. So the Torah used an exact word. Asher atem zonim acharehem. Now, it didn't say that you are violating. No, it said that this is prostitutions. This is what it is. The Torah is very precise. A person is not allowed to wink to a woman, to talk to her on the street, to give her compliments on the street, to give any hint, to tell her jokes, to be friends with her, to be her psychologist. You can open your heart to me. I'm a good friend. We went together to school 10 years. Rabbi, no, she's only my friend. What's the problem? She is in a crisis. She left her boyfriend, Vinny. She's very depressed. I'm afraid she's going to do something to herself. So all of a sudden, Baruch Hashem, he became the psychologist. Tell me, open your heart. You can count on me. I'm very confidential. The next thing she sees, everything is on the internet. Trusting this kind of people. Or blackmail begin. Oh, I know all your secrets. If you're not going to do this and this and that. People are very naive today. You got to be very, very careful, because you have to understand, even if a person is really a good friend of yours, male or female, and really at this given moment you can trust him 100%, always have to remember that in 1 year from now things can be the opposite. Yeah? This person that is your best friend can become your biggest enemy in a year. Why to give him material that can be used against you? A clever person never tell anyone his private secrets. Never. Even sometimes to your own wife or to your own husband. Not everything you can count on them to accept. Certain things they pretend they understand you. They pretend that they no problem, they can live with that, and 2 years later it breaks the marriage. Why? Because it constantly kills them from inside, and then somebody else talks about it, and somebody else, and then they watch something, and they put everything together, and they say, that's it. I can't go on like this. You got to be very careful by telling your secrets to whom. Sometimes even people come to their own rabbi and open their heart to them, and rabbis are human beings. Yeah, they're in a higher level than the average people, it's true. But certain things that you may tell your rabbi would make your rabbi lose your value in his eyes. Why? Because it would be very hard for him to teach you or to be close to you knowing you're doing certain things. You got to be careful. So whenever you have to ask a private question, never admit it's you. Never. Don't tell him, I'm talking about me, I cheated on my husband 2 years ago. Don't ever do that. You tell him, I have a friend, and yes, that's the right way to talk. I have a friend that she did this and this and that, now she's driving me crazy, she wants to know what to do, she can stay with her husband, she has to get divorced, she has to tell her husband, there's a lot of questions in life. Don't ever confess that it's you. We are not Christianity. You put $50 in a box, and the father stands on the other side and pretend he doesn't know you. You understand? That's not what it is. Also, men, you got to be careful what you say. If confession was a public thing, it wouldn't be whispering. It would scream, everyone together, like we do. Hashem, Hashem, El, Rachum, Vechanun. Everyone scream. Right before that, it's whispering. Then sitting down, what you need to scream, you scream. What you need to whisper. I gave a lecture about davening. And I say, what's the most important part of the davening? Everyone screams something, and in the end, the conclusion is that Tfilat Shmona Esrei, whispering. When we stand in front of Hashem, whispering. So I say, why it's so important? The most important tefillah is whispering. Nobody hears you. Why? Imagine a person now in Shomea Tefillah, right? He's going like this. He begins to scream, Hashem, I'm tired. I'm tired of my parnasah. My wife doesn't help me. Nobody understands. Everyone in a shul. This guy scream, Hashem, I'm broke. Send me money. This guy says, Sarah doesn't want to marry me. How many years I'm going to wait? The whole shul, everyone scream like this. Anyone can focus on his prayer. It has to be private. And it has to remain private. You don't make Shomea Tefillah, your confession, in the middle. You want to add words, Shomea Tefillah, and everybody have to hear your problems. So the Rambam says like this. Any kind of friendship, even if you really, this girl is not your style, she's not, you don't think there's a chance you ever be attracted to her to make a scene with her. Completely, she's not your style. You say, the chance that I ever like this girl is 0. Or she thinks the same way. Or there's a big difference in the age. She can be your daughter or anything like this. People think, she's 10 years older than me. She's 20 years older than me. Well, I don't have desire. She can be my mother, this one. Believe me, the world is full of forbidden relationships that you never ever believe it's possible. Never believe it's possible. Things that the Torah warns about, thank you. Things that the Torah warned about, when you read it first time, you say, well, why the Torah had to waste so many warnings? What? The Torah is talking about psychos, but today, you see how people are doing exactly what the Torah warned about. God knows what he's talking about. He knew that there will be crazy people who rape children, there will be crazy people who rape old people in hospitals. He knew all these things. That's why everything is in the Torah. Why? To tell you, even though it's not logical that somebody will make these sins, but when he makes the sins, I'll punish him severely. So the Rambam continue. The Rambam say, even to joke around. You hear what they say on the news? This, that, jokes. And to look at her beauty. To look at her face and say, wow, what a beautiful girl. Enjoying the beauty. I know I cannot marry her. She could be a married woman. But just to enjoy from her beauty. So what am I doing? I'm not talking to her. I'm a religious guy. Just thinking to myself, what a beautiful woman Hashem created. You think it's a mitzvah. In the beginning, you say, maybe I'm doing something wrong. 2-3 weeks later, he say, wow, every day I'm making mitzvah, Kiddush Hashem. Wow, what's mitzvah you do? I'm impressed by the beauty of the creation of Hashem. Next time you want to be impressed from the trees, from the animals in nature. From that, you're allowed to be impressed. Don't be impressed on things that the Torah say, watch your eyes, don't look. Then, someone like that the Beit Din, the Jewish Beit Din gave him a warning. You are talking to the girls on the street, you got to be careful. And he did not accept the warning. Somebody like that, what do you think they do to him? They take him to the Beit Din and whip him with a whip that everybody will see that this person is not a modest person. Imagine if we try to do it today to someone. What would happen? Iran, crazy religion, what's going on? But that's what Hashem said, that a person like this has to get a warning. Sometimes the only way a person understands is when he feels physical pain. When he knows if I'm going to do it, it's going to hurt me, he doesn't do it. And then the people get saved. You understand? How many of us make sins? Imagine if there was a system that every time you're about to touch food that is not kosher and to eat it, you get electrocuted. And you fall on the floor with horrible pain. Every time you try to take shrimps, oh, delicious. Whoop! Like right away. Or whatever you eat, something that is not kosher, then you never make a sin. So all the physical pain, 1, 2, 3, that's it. You'll never do it. Because nobody wants to feel pain. So now it's a positive thing or it's a negative thing. Depends who you ask. Some people say, better I make sins and you don't force me to do mitzvot. Some people say, yes, I want to subscribe to this program to save my soul. I take once or twice the pain, I'll get the point. So far, I've been trying 10 years and I'm not getting the point. Maybe that's going to make me a better person. Right? Or wrong. So it's helping. Same thing by kids. You ask your little kid, don't touch without permission. Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. It doesn't help. 2 minutes later, he's by the chocolate again. What happened when the father hit him like this? Not such a painful thing, but embarrass him. He hits him a little bit on the head. No, no, no. What happened? He gets the point. Talking to him, not always it helps. I'm not encouraging anyone to become violent. Don't get the wrong impression. But I'm just saying that in certain places the Torah says that a person has to get a warning. Warning before he gets a bigger punishment from God is to give him 1 or 2 smacks for everyone to know that this person is a sinner. Believe me, to avoid the embarrassment that people knew that they took you to court and they had to smack you because you talk to a married woman in your office or on the street, or you sit on the street and watch the girls go to school, right? Or you do other things that people do today. Many of the sinners today wouldn't do it. You have to know one thing. There is a very simple rule in every society and every courtroom that we go. What is it? The bigger the punishment is, it indicates that the sin that was taking place is greater. If a person got 20 years in prison and one person got only 3 years in prison, then we know right away the person who got 20 years probably did something much more severe. You cannot compare 3 years to 20 years. If a person got 1 smack in court or 50 smack, there's a big difference. Probably this one did something much greater. Same thing over here. From all the sins of the Torah, 613 commandments, 365 restrictions. Which restrictions are subjects to the biggest punishments of the Torah? Forbidden relation, all kinds of prostitution, all kinds of not modest acts. They are in the highest category of sins. Bigger than eating not kosher, sometimes bigger than murder. Even the punishment of the murderer not always reach sex crimes. So what do you see from here? That in the eyes of the creator of the world, lack of modesty, it's not a joke like some people think. It's a very, very serious point that brings many tragedies to each one of us personally and to all of us as a nation. I make sins, he suffer. He makes sins, she's suffering. She makes sins, I suffer. That's how it goes. We all one unit. In the army, you have 50 soldiers. 1 or 2 are high on coke now. They cannot fight. We're all going to die. What are you going to say? Leave me alone. It's my own life. No, you fool. You messed up in your responsibility in life. All of us go down with you. That's why there's an obligation in the Torah that every Jew is a guarantor for the other. Everyone has to do whatever they can to help the others to come up. Somebody called me yesterday. He says, I want to clarify with you if I did a good thing or a bad thing. What is it? I saw a religious guy, a quarter yarmulke, he saw a religious guy walking with a girl on the street. The girl dressed worse than a prostitute. He just couldn't see it. He said, should I say to the guy something? Should I not say? Should I say? So he called him on the side. He was afraid to tell him clearly what the problem is, so he hinted to him. He said to him, maybe you should think because you are going in the wrong direction. The guy said, what are you talking about? I'm going in the right direction. What am I doing wrong? So he's calling me, maybe he went too far. So I told him, not only you didn't go too far, you didn't go far enough. Next time you have to call him on the side and tell him, listen, I'm not your father, I'm not your brother, I'm not your teacher. It's not my job to give you musar. But I just want to keep what the Torah says. You are walking with a yarmulke, with a girl that is naked on the street. This is a very big chilul Hashem. Did you ever think what damage you're making? That's it, and leave. He wants to get the musar, fine. He doesn't want, let him scream while you're running away. That's all. If everyone will do it once a day, the world will be a better place. Because remember, many people here, on the way here, I got an email from a religious woman. Thank you for waking me up. I'm religious from birth, but after I started to listen to your lecture, I came back to life. Everything I was doing is like a robot. Obviously, when you do things like a robot, you are not doing it right. The heart is not there. Just being a robot, that's not religion. So let's move on. So the Rambam says like this. Someone who looks at the finger of a woman, not only hugging, kissing, joking around and listening to her private problems on phone at 2 o'clock at night. Looking at her finger to enjoy from the beauty of her fingers. Pedicure, manicure, all this nonsense. Not like today, the women, they glue all kinds of long nails like witch. Each one of them has a dream, she wants to be a witch. Good thing she doesn't go with the broom on the street, So she puts all these nails, and she puts stars on it, like this, all kinds of strange things. But what can I do that this is the fashion of the goyim, not of God? According to God, you are ugly by putting these nails. Where does it say it in the Torah? Who knows? Where does it say in the Torah if you have long nail, it's ugly? The Torah say if a Jew went to the war, religious Jew went to a war, and he saw Christine over there. somewhere in Europe, there's a war, and he saw Christine over there. And he fell in love with her. They cannot think now about the war. Wow, what a beautiful Christine is thinking. So the Torah say, oh, you want to take her back? You want to make a sin with her? I know, Hashem say, I know you're not going to listen to me now. You're far away from town. You're somewhere in a non-Jewish country. You're going to make the sin with her. So since you're going to make the sin with her, let me help you. It's called rehab in our days. Let me try to get you out of your addiction. So what is it? Okay, you want to touch her? No problem. But there are a few conditions. One, make her shave her head. So this is the answer to all these Jews that think that the woman has to shave their head. That's wrong. It's against the Torah. But that's their culture. I cannot tell them what to do. They do it for hundreds of years. According to the Zohar, a married woman must have hair and has to be pretty to her husband. But no other man should ever see her hair. That's what the Torah says. The Torah didn't say a woman has to be looking like Kojak. It doesn't say it. A woman has to be pretty to her husband, and no bald woman is pretty for her husband. The Torah didn't say that Hashem gave the woman beautiful hair for her husband. She has to shave it and put someone else's hair. Use your head. And where is the proof in the Torah that a woman not allowed to be bald? Proof in the Torah. Where is it? That if a husband suspects that his wife cheated on him, he has to take her to the Kohen in the time of Bet HaMikdash, 2,000 years ago, and he takes her to the Kohen, and the Kohen take the cover of her hair, and they open up the hair. The Torah says, "Upara se'ar rosha." It's a verse in the Torah. The Kohen open up her hair. If she's bald, if the truth was that she has to be bald because of modesty, there's a mistake in the Torah. What, Hashem didn't know that women has to be bald? Why he say to open up their hair? Because women have to have hair. And I'm not disrespecting anyone. We have to know what the roots of their custom, where it comes from. I heard a rumor, which makes a lot of sense, that the reason some of the European ladies, not all of them, but some of them shave their head, is because in the old days in Europe they used to make pogroms and come to rape the women. And the only way to get safe from the rape was to take off your wig, and then these Cossacks, they come to rape, and they see all the women all of a sudden they are bald, so they run away. They get scared. They make a face like this when they bald, so they get safe from rape. If that's the source of the custom, then we understand where it comes from. Could be other sources. Some of the things that looks very strange has a very serious root. You have to go back and see where it comes from. But literally from the Torah, that's not what the Torah say to have. So anyway, so the Torah says like this. If a person looks on a finger of a girl, trying to enjoy from her beauty of her hands, is not allowed. If a man goes to the war and he found Christine over there, and Christine, he told her, okay, I want to convert you and I want to bring you with me. But you have to first shave your head, you have to be bald, and you have to make yourself long hair, long nails. ועשתה את ציפורניה, the Torah says, you have to make long nails. And then wear prisoners' outfit. Prisoners, like they take the prisoners, so they all, like today in jail, they wear special outfit, And after she sit home for 30 days to cry for the death of her father, whatever. After all that, if you still want to make a sin with her, fine. You marry her, you convert her, fine. But you should know that when you have children, there will be wild beasts. So many warnings, and some people still did it. Some people still did it. And what happened to them? I don't want to mention name because of the reputation of these people. Some of them that did them, they had wild beast children. And they suffer from that children for the rest of their life. How much a man can suffer for 10 minutes that he wants to enjoy with a woman, and then he suffers 40 years for it? How stupid people can be. If the people would use their head, say, wait a minute, this 1 hour pleasure will cost me 40 years of aggravation. And then in the afterlife. And then who knows what an impact it's going to be on my descendants. This stupid desire. That's why the Torah says, watch your eyes. You watch your eyes, all the other problems who follow do not come. So, if he looks, even at he goes in the office and the receptionist work on her computer and he looks at her hands, assuming she's a very modest woman. So there's nothing else to look, only to look at her hands. Even that is a very big sin. And people think, come on, you're crazy. Looking at the woman's fingers is a sin? Yes, it is. If you look to enjoy from her beauty, whatever it is. And the Torah say, the Rambam say that according to the Torah, it doesn't matter where you look in a woman's body. Any parts of her body that you look to enjoy from, even in ankles, even the toes, whatever, she walk barefoot, and you look at that, it's like looking in the worst place in her body. There's no difference. Why? It's no modesty, that's it. You cross that red line, you cross the red line. Then the Torah says, not only you're not allowed to look at the actual woman, you're not allowed to look at her pictures. Today sometimes I go to people's houses to give lecture. It's very common around here. You come in, 15 pictures, all big. The Khatan and the Kala in their wedding. The wife is half naked with her wedding gown. And every man, every crazy person has to come to the house, has to see his wife before she was religious on the wall. You became religious, remove the pictures. You're not embarrassed that people come and see how your wife dressed in the time of the wedding, Hashem Yerachem? And not, if not your wife, some uncle or your aunt that they're half naked on a wall. Or in a family album. Why people has to come and see your aunt and your who knows what, your sister, whatever, when they forgot to dress? Why? There's another problem. What is the other problem? Sometimes, today it's not, in America it's not common, but in Israel and some other primitive countries it's still an issue. What is it? It used to be that everywhere in the world, women hang their clothing outside to dry. It's not like today, dryers and this. So people put their clothing. So she puts her clothing on the wire, and the neighbor all day is like this. Wow, beautiful outfit. Sick person. It's a sin from the Torah to look at this. Why? Because he has all kinds of imaginations in his head. He's imagining bad things. You know, the secular people in Israel, they're very ignorant when it comes to religion, unfortunately. So since some of them are nosy, so they came up with a theory that a male and a female religious husband and wife are not allowed to have close relationship, which means if they want to be together, they want to have relation, they have to have a separation. So what they do, they put a sheet between their bodies, and there's a hole in the middle of the sheet, and that's how they bring children to the world. What made them come to this mistake? They saw tzitzit hanging on the wire. These ignorant genius ones, they came up with that theory. Even when I was a kid, I heard that nonsense. Why? They saw big tzitzit. You know, the Hasidim have very big tzitzit. It goes all the way to the floor. So they say, it doesn't look like tzitzit. That's probably that shit that we're talking about. Then the Gemara continue. The Gemara say, Otzem enav mirot ra. Someone who closes his eyes not to see bad things. אמר רבי חייא בר אבא, זה שאינו מסתכל בנשים בשעה שהן עומדות על הכביסה. He does not look at the women when they do laundry. When women used to do laundry in the time of the Gemara, either in a lake or by the river, or if there is a well somewhere, spring water who comes out, but most of them used to have their own laundry room. Not like today. Don't get excited. No dryer, no washer, no Bounty, none of these powders, great, delicious smell, no. How they used to do laundry? They used to take a shovel and dig a hole in the ground. After there's a hole, it looks like a grave, they take whatever, cement or anything like that, they put on the side of the wall and the bottom, and it becomes a hole, you know. Now they fill it up with water, and they put very, very primitive soap. You don't want to smell it. Very bad. And that's how they do the laundry. So the Gemara asks a question. We know that in the Jewish neighborhoods was always in the shape of a chet, shape of like a U, but square, right? 4 walls and 1 open. So if you have, let's say, 10 houses, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4 houses, and then 4 and 4, 12 houses, 4, 4 and 4, and then it opens to the major road. There's a major road with all the horses and the donkeys and the camels, they're all riding on a major highway. But the neighborhood has a field in between. What are they doing over there? There's roosters, there's donkeys, there's cows, sheep, all the things that people own. So if a person, the BMW of that time used to be a donkey. The Mercedes was the horse. And the minivan was a camel. That's what it was. So everyone is putting his animals over there. One of the things they used to do in this field is to do their laundry. Now, everything you want to do, this is not a private territory. This belongs to the entire neighborhood. So if you want to do something there, you got to get permission from the neighbors. So the Gemara say, if a woman wants to do laundry over there, she wants to dig a hole and make herself a laundry room in a neighborhood yard over there. Does she need permission from the neighbors, or she can go ahead and not care what they think? She can make herself a hole and do the laundry. The answer is, she doesn't need permission. What do you mean? If you use someone else's property, you have few partners, and you do it without their permission, you're a thief. You're nothing but a thief. So why the Torah gave permission to the woman to make the hole? The answer is, shocking as it may sound, the answer is, what's the alternative? What's the other option? Would you consider that a Jewish female will go to the public lake to do laundry? Somebody ever heard such a crime? That a Jewish woman will go by the lake and bow down like this and do the laundry when all the goyim goes on their horses and they may look at her when she's in a public area? This is just to show you the average level of modesty 2,000 years ago. Now you understand how low we came. A complete cover, not like today, covered completely. She's covered like, 100%. When she bent down, you don't see anything. You don't see body, you don't see anything. You just see like someone is covered with a blanket. But she's doing the laundry. And she bent down, and somebody may come from the side, from behind, all kinds of things, and may look at her. For 1 second, that's already no modesty for the daughters of God, for the holy nation. Would you consider that she's going to go to the lake? Everybody understands that no women will go to the lake to do it. That's why the women don't have to have permission. Everybody must agree, otherwise nobody will do laundry. This is to show you who our mothers are. Now you understand why there's so much problems today? So the Gemara say, one man fell in love with his neighbor. Both of them are single. She has a neighbor in the street, she walks in the street. He comes to his doctor and say, I want to get married to this girl, but she doesn't want me. Now I tell you, doctor, if she doesn't take me to be her husband, I kill myself. I die. I'm already cannot functioning. I cannot focus on my life. That's it. I'm sick already. Chole ahava. That's what I am. The doctor said, wow, it's pikuach nefesh. Really life risk. Let me speak to the rabbis to see what the law says in case like this. I come to the rabbi and say, Rabbi, Moshe fell in love with Miriam. What can we do about it? She doesn't want him. Maybe you can talk to her. Maybe he will go with her one time. They make whatever they have to do, and that's it. Just to save his life. She's going to do a very big mitzvah. She saved the life of a person, no? The doctor is thinking now. The Torah says pikuach nefesh, no? Life risk. Life risk doche Shabbat. Maybe it's also prevent this. The rabbi say, yamut velo tiba'el lo. Let him die, and she won't agree to do anything with him. What's the question? Next day, the doctor was being creative. So he comes to the rabbi and says, okay, Rabbi, not full sin. How about if she walks in front of him? She walks like this. How are you, Moshe? He looks at her for 2 minutes, and that's it. No, it will relax him. She smiled a little bit. We're not talking, she walks with a bathing suit. She's 100% modest. Women were modest. What's the question? The rabbi say, let him die, and she won't walk in front of him. Fully modest. Why? What's on his mind? He looks at her beautiful gown. No, his mind is somewhere else. She should not allow to walk near him. So the doctor was trying to be more creative. He said, okay, Rabbi, let them talk on the phone. 2,000 years ago. Now you're thinking, what phones? What, they had phones 2,000 years ago? The answer is, according to Tehillim, Tehillim said that there was phones. Where does it say in Tehillim that there are telephones? Who knows in Tehillim? Tziltzalei Shama, that's good. I have something better. It says, בכל הארץ יצא קוום ובקצה תבל מיליהם. All over the world the line spreads, and in the other side of the world you hear their voice. This is a prophecy about telephone. כל הארץ יצא קוום ובקצה תבל, the other side of the world, מיליהם. There's line all the way from one side of the world to the other, and you hear the voice of a person on the other side of the world. That's what he says. Today we have it. So anyway, how are they going to talk on the phone, Moshe and Miriam, in the time of the Gemara? The answer is, the doctor said to the rabbi, he will stand on one side of the wall, and she will stand on the other side of the wall. No physical contact, no eye vision. This is how it's going to be. How are you today, Moshe? Great, Miriam. Thank you for giving me 5 minutes of your time per day. What are you planning today? What are they talking about? The beautiful weather. It was great on Shabbat. I don't feel good today. I'm going to my doctor. Nonsense. Just to relax his mentally, to take the pressure from his head. To give him a little attention, the poor guy. So maybe now the rabbi will agree. The rabbi answer halacha, the law. Let him die, and she won't talk to him on the phone. Definitely not on a Facebook. With pictures. Send me some pictures. This is my sister's wedding. My cousin Abigail came from Israel with her friends. Look. Maybe one of them is good for you for shidduch. Yeah, I have also a few friends. Let me send you pictures. And then 2 months later, somebody is getting murdered somewhere in a hospital, in abortion. This is what it brings to the world. Everything can be used for good, can be used for bad, depending what you do with that. All this technology that Hashem gave in this generation, internet, Facebook, all this, network, marketing, whatever, companies that we have today can be doing the greatest thing on earth. And can destroy the world. Depend what you want to use it for. You can use it to make massive amount of Jews religious. Massive. Radio, I'll give you an example of a radio. Last week I told a story, last Monday, but I couldn't tell the full story because I didn't have permission from the person to use his name. I don't like to tell stories unless if I say the name on the air. Because when I say the name, everyone can go and check if the story is 100% as I said. If I don't say the name, it's enough for me that some people think I'm making up stories or exaggerating. That's already not worth it for me to tell the story. So what happened? Last week, actually the story started a month ago. Listen good what happened. A month ago, I get a telephone call on a Tuesday afternoon from a person named Michael Biton from Brooklyn. Never saw him in my life, never spoke to him before. He calls me up about a month ago, maybe by now, maybe 40 days from now, something like that. He said to me, I just heard you on the radio. Every Tuesday between 9 and 11, I'm in Hidabrut radio. So it's all over Brooklyn. So that week, it was Shabbat. I'm speaking about Shabbat. Probably you know my lecture about Shabbat. If you didn't hear it at least 3 times, make sure you do it. You must hear it and know it by heart. If you argue with other people that Mechalel Shabbat, you know what to answer. So they listen to the lecture about Shabbat, and he calls me up. He said, me and my wife are sitting here in a car, and I'm shaking now. I don't know what to do, he says. He said, I have many kids, all of them religious, Baruch Hashem. One of them is completely not religious. He's 20, 21 years old. He became completely not religious. He even went to crime without saying exactly what he was doing. Hashem Yerachem. Amevin Yavin. He said to me, he lives in my basement. He's not Shomer Shabbat. He's doing laundry in a house on Shabbat, knowing we all of us Shomer Shabbat. I cannot do anything with him. What should I do? Am I allowed to keep him in my home or not? Maybe I'm helping him to make his sins. By keeping him in my own facility, he used my stuff to be Mechalel Shabbat. Maybe I'm a part of the sin. I don't know what to do. I know my heart will tell me it's my son. I have to help him. But maybe I'm destroying him more and myself with him. It's an halacha question. What should I do? Should I tell him, find yourself a place? Or I should continue to close my eyes like I don't see what he does? My heart is burning. So I started to talk to him. I said, instead of thinking what to do with him, why don't we make him religious? He said, no, he was in yeshiva when he was a kid. He was very good until a certain age. Something went wrong and he went all the way to the other side. He doesn't want to hear anything from religion. If I tell him a rabbi wants to talk to you, there's no chance. I say, okay, let's send him CDs. No, he won't even listen. Don't waste your time. So I'm thinking, I say, I tell you what, I have an idea. I have this debate with the priest. Don't tell him it's religion. It's very entertaining. Tell him the rabbi against the priest. It's a show. Let him watch. He will watch 10 minutes. He's going to like it. And he's going to listen to the whole thing. He said, you know what, let's do it. So we send him the debate. Then a week later he calls me up. He said, you know what, it worked. I watched it first. I really liked it. I came to him and said, you have to listen to it. Okay, so he agreed to listen. He put it in the computer. He watched the debate. He even brought his friends to watch it with him. You have to see. So he said, now he's excited. He really liked the show there. So now, since he already liked you, don't you have other videos? I said, of course. I'll send you Torah and Science. See, you watch Torah and Science, and we'll bring him back to life. So, okay, send it. Right away, I email my shipping guy, send him another video. No, send him Torah and Science. We send him Torah and Science, 4 hours film. Watched it 10 times, he said. Now I went to Canada. I sent him a Torah and Science. 3 days later, I went to seminar weekend in Canada. Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, I check my messages. I see Mr. Michael Biton left me a message. If you can call me back, you send me the Torah and Science DVD. If you can call me back tonight, it's better than tomorrow, tonight. But I'm very busy. I have 2 lectures that night, so I couldn't call him back. Monday night, I came back to New York. I drove 10 hours from Toronto to Queens, 10 hours. Right, I had 2 lectures. I didn't have time for him. I didn't have time. So right away I came here. I did 2 lectures. Next day, I forgot about him. Tuesday. The next day, Tuesday, 6 p.m., my son comes to me, Abba, someone is in the door for tzedakah. Saw a man with a long beard, Haredi. So my son, what does he know? A little kid. He understands, it's tzedakah. He tells me, tzedakah. I come to the door. So he said to me, no, not tzedakah. Grab my hand, hugging me, kissing me, tears in his eyes. Say, come, let's go to the library room. We go into the library room, we sit there. I'm Michael Biton. Remember we spoke on the phone. I said, sure, of course, how can I forget? You're not going to believe what happened. So what? My son kept the whole Shabbat. The whole Shabbat he kept with us, everything. Now he told me yesterday, please take me to Eichler's. It's a bookstore, gift store in Brooklyn. I said, what do you have to do in Eichler's? He said, don't ask questions, let's go to Eichler's. I take him to Eichler's, he buy tzitzit, buy Tehillim. Reborn. So I said to him, listen, tomorrow I'm giving a lecture in Brooklyn. That was last Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm going to be in Brooklyn, in Mill Basin. Why don't you bring him to the shiur, to the lecture? He said, no, he has to go to the Bronx. They have to check him over there, this, that. He has to go to sleep very early, but you know what, I'll mention it to him. The next day, I'm on my way to Brooklyn. I said, let me give him a call. I call him. He said, I'm for sure coming. But him, I don't know. You know what, let's put him on the line. he puts his son on the line. You know, I spoke to him. How do you like the CD? It's great. I love it. So you're going to come tonight? He said, I really want, but I have to go to sleep early. I have to be early tomorrow in the Bronx. This. I said, okay, no pressure. As long as you watch the CDs, I'm happy. In the meantime, we sent him a bunch of all the MP3, all the CDs. He's equipped already. So I said, no, as long as he said, no problem. 2 hours later, he showed up. The first, him, his younger son, and him sitting first one in the lecture. I arrived, they're there, see a nice, handsome kid, 21 years old, already look like a tzaddik. Who would believe a week ago this one who was where he was? So he come to me after the lecture, he say, I'm very inspired. What do you think I should do now every day to keep it going? Tell me what to do. I say, only learn 2 hours Torah a day, that's it. Everything else will follow. You learn Torah, it will build up your holiness. This is the soul of a Jew. The diamond can be deep in the mud. You take it out, you clean the mud, 1, 2, 3, right away it shines again. We have to understand, we're destroying our neshamot. If we die with the mud very bad. But as long as we're alive, we can clean it very much. Then, we continue, the Rambam says here, the Rambam says like this. אם אפשר לאדם למנוע עצמו, if a person can prevent from himself not to meet, listen to the word of the Rambam. I'm sure you respect the Rambam, no? Even the secular Jews in Israel respect the Rambam. How do I know? The only rabbi in the last 2,000 years that the secular Jews know, it's Rambam. You know why? Because in every city in Israel you have Rambam Street. Hospitals called Rambam. Many places, schools, Rambam school. Why the secular admire the Rambam? Even the Goyim here in Washington, they made a statue of him. Why they don't make a statue of Rabbi Akiva, was much bigger than the Rambam? Why they don't put, or any one of the Tanaim? Why they don't do it? Because they're only rabbis. But Rambam was a philosopher, an astronomer, a mathematician, a great doctor. Oh, that's an educated person. The Torah part, they don't care. They only care about the nonsense. So, still, they admire him very much. Everybody understands he's one of the greatest doctors ever lived. Listen to the way he described girls, no offense, girls that dress not modestly. This is his words. I'm going to read it to you in Hebrew and then translate. אם אפשר לאדם למנוע עצמו, if a person can prevent himself, שלא לפגוע עם הרשעיות והחצופות, not to meet with the wicked and the girls with the chutzpah, arrogant, ההולכות בגילוי בשר, that walks in the street, that some of their skin is open, not covered. מחויב ללך בדרך אחר, he must change his way. Rabbi, that's my only way, from my house to the bus. Why do you want me now to go through the field? It's 10 times more to walk. I have to walk, it's a shortcut. But there are women are not modest. מחויב ללכת בדרך אחר, he must go from a different way. או למינס נפשה להסתכל לצד אחר, or to close his eyes and to turn to the side when he walks. שלא יהיה נקרא רשע לפני המקום. Why? How does the Rambam knows it? The Gemara says like this. If a person has 2 ways to his destination, one short with women there, and one long without any women, which way he has to go through? For the long way. If a person took the shortcut and closed his eyes and did not look at the girls that are not modest, somebody like this is wicked or righteous? Huh? Wicked. Someone like this, he went 10 minutes on a street full of ladies and closed his eyes or looked at the floor, he did not see one of them. If we had a candy camera follow him, let's say we had a video guy and he doesn't know he's been followed. He walks in the street and everybody sees like Yosef HaTzadik in Egypt. He walks like this. And they feel him. and the girl's calling him on the street something, he doesn't pick up his head. And they show it on television. It's Chilul Hashem or Kiddush Hashem? Kiddush Hashem, no? The Gemara say Rasha, wicked. Why? Tell you why. If you already take the risk that you enter this minefield, this time you had no casualty, you went through. But the fact that you enter that place when the girls are there, and you know en apotropos la'arayot, there's no guarantee when it comes to forbidden relationships. There's no guarantee. You cannot rely on yourself a minute before you die. 8 years you lived, you're a holy man. All you saw is books and Torah. The last day of your life, don't be sure about yourself. If a woman come and seduce you, the next thing you can make a sin and lose everything. No guarantee when it comes to this. No guarantee. So the Gemara say, Rasha, if he went in a shortcut. Why? Maybe something could have happened, you're not worried. By us, it looks very strange. We say, what's going on here? Well, I cannot leave the house now, based on what's happening in the street. It's true. They're speaking about generation that women didn't dress like today. How many women 2,000 years ago dressed like the women today? Not even one in the whole world. If you don't believe me, go to the library, ask them to show you books with pictures from 100 years ago. 103 generations. Your grandmother's mother. And back in time. If you're able to show me one black and white picture of a not modest woman, I'll give you a prize. Any book, Jews, non-Jews, doesn't matter. Or from the 1900 back on time. One lady in any picture that was not modest like the ladies today, you know what, I'll go even further. Even the religious girls today don't dress modestly like these secular women or the goyim of 100 years ago. The secular Jews in Hungary, 1933, one time if I have patience, I'll connect my laptop and show you a 5-minute film. The women of the Shomer HaTzahir in Hungary, dancing with the guys, hora, one guy, one girl, one guy, one girl in circles, they go in circles, and you should see how they dress. Dresses like this wide, like this, cover up to here, everything up to here, 100%, not 1 inch of her body you can see.
There was no designer before.
Think about it. Huh? Wicked women, dance together with the men, not Shomer Shabbos, nothing whatsoever, but modesty is modesty. It's the dignity of the woman. Who knows what's the reason women has to be dressed all the time, modestly? Everybody say, not to make the men make sins. What happened if she landed on an island and there's no men over there? Only monkeys and baboons. One girl once told me, why you say that I should not be too pretty when I leave the house? I do it to feel great with myself. You know, I do my hair, I put makeup, I dress, I look at myself in the mirror, it makes me feel good. I say to her, yeah, because you do it for the men to look at you on the street. She said, no, not necessarily. I want to feel good with myself. So I told her, let me tell you, if you're going to be landing in an island and there's no man over there, only baboons and elephants and some giraffes. And now you have your press with all your makeup stuff and your hair blower, everything you have with you. You come out in the island, you look around, one zebra, crocodile, 5 baboons on the trees, no people, nothing, no man, no female, nothing. How many minutes every day you sit by your mirror and fix your place, the way you look? Not even 1 minute. Why? There's nobody to impress. Who you impress? The baboon, the chimpanzee? Did you ever think why all the chimpanzees look alike? Why all of them are twins? 10,000 chimpanzees, all of them the same face. 10,000 people, all of them different. Unless if they're born in China, then they all look the same. They all look the same. All straight black hair, same eyes, same skin, everything the same. But other than that, every person has something unique about his face. The answer is, the Gemara answer, כשם שפרצופיהם אינם שווים, and דעותיהם אינם שווים, The same way the images of the people are different, their opinions is different, their voice is different. Why? Because every person is a unique soul. It's a soul. He has a test in life. And his image is depend on his correction. Which means when you're born, when you're created as a baby, God already decided for you in the first 40 days of the pregnancy if you be handsome or not, if you be pretty or not, if you be very tall or very short or average. It's all decided. How it's decided? They have dice over there in Shamayim, and Hashem say, let's throw, shesh besh. Very good. This guy will be very nice looking. Oh, 2-1. Okay, ugly. 2-1. What's going on? It's not working like this. How does it work? Tell you how it works. It works on how you died. You died modest, you don't need to be pretty anymore. Why? Your test is over. You're already modest. You're now pretty, you died. Very pretty in your life. Men gave you lots of compliments, attention, you were a devoted wife, modest, faithful to your husband. You did everything according to the Torah, like Sarah Imenu. But you need to correct other things. You have to be reincarnated. Why are you going to need to be pretty again? It's only going to bring you problems. More attraction, more desires, more tests, more problems. You don't need it. I want to help you out, so I make you below average. Doesn't attract so much attention. All the pretty girls, what's happened to them? All of them have modesty problem. Almost all of them. So the beauty, it's cancer. Spiritual cancer in their life. They think, wow, I'm so lucky. Hashem, you made me so pretty. You're full. It's destroying your eternity, this beauty. Why are you so happy from it? It would be better off you don't attract attention. If you're very pretty, okay, be like your grandmother, Sarah. She was much prettier than you. You look like a monkey compared to her. How do I know? The Torah say, everyone compared to Sarah, it looks like a monkey. Why? Their beauty was breathtaking. 4 beautiful women ever lived. Sarah is one of them. Compare the women today to her, it's a joke. But Sarah was 100% modest. Nobody knew her beauty. Even her own husband didn't know what kind of treasure he has in his hand. Why? Modesty was a very important thing. You never found any compliment to a woman in the Torah besides modesty. Isn't it strange? Did you ever hear God compliment a woman for keeping Shabbos? I never saw anything like that. For being Ba'alat Chesed, a little bit here and there. For being kind and helping. But most of the time, always, modesty. Tznuah, Ba'ohel, this, modest, the Gemara, full of modesty compliments. Or complaints. But it's all around modesty. Let me read to you some of the things that Rabbi Aaron Rata say about the horrible sin of a man that makes this sin. Before, let me first explain to you. When a wicked person dies, not evil, wicked. Wicked means could be a good heart, but made a lot of sins in his life. There is the sin that's called wasting seed, which means a person that wasted his seed without his wife in a kosher way. Every drop of seed is a horrible sin, even if it was not intentional. But not intentional is the 3rd section in hell. Person goes in, he cleans, his soul gets clean like a dry clean for the soul. And one day he comes out of there and go to heaven and cash on his rewards that Hashem owes him. But if it's intentional, everybody should know. If it's intentional waste of seed, he goes to the 7th section, which is the lowest, and the Zohar, and it appears in Reshit Chochmah, in the chapter of Ira, of fear, of Ira. It's appear over there that there are 3 sins that once a person make them, he goes to the 7th section. If he dies without tshuva, without repentance, if he died without tshuva, he goes to the 7th section and never ever come out of there for eternity. I know it's hard to believe, but that's what it says word by word, and I'm not the one to modify the Torah. I'm not reformed yet. This is what the Zohar and the Reshit Chochmah says. First one, Mechalel Shabbat on purpose. not keeping Shabbat, knowing it's the eternal covenant with God, and he goes to work in his barber shop, cutting hair. Okay, it's not funny. It's very sad for this person, making $200 or $300 a day and lose his eternity. Very bad investment. Male or female. Shabbat is eternal covenant for everyone, even converts. Converted? Too late, my friend, to go back to Vinny and Tony. No, that's it. You're in now. No, but it's too hard for me, Rabbi. I didn't know it's going to be so hard. You have a Jewish soul already. Cannot go back. You have to keep Shabbat. You don't keep Shabbat, you get punished just like a Jew from birth. No way back. That's why we have to tell the converts 100 times before. Make sure you understand what you're doing. Don't put yourself in a jeopardy. You can stay a righteous Gentile. You have no problem. No wasting seed by the Goyim, even though it says that it's an ugly thing for them to do, and they will get punishment, but they don't have anything like a Jew. There's nothing, the holiness of the seed of a Jewish man to a non-Jewish man is nothing to compare. You understand? But for them, there's no sin. He meets Christine in a bar, he goes in with her, they live like husband and wife tonight. They met 5 hours ago, 2 hours ago. It's not a sin for them. A Jew that does it with another Jew, horrible, horrible sin. No words to describe how big is the sin. Or all the other ways. And keeping Shabbat, and even in modesty. The Goyot, the Gentiles also have to be modest, but nothing like the Jewish females. An act of a non-modest Jewish girl compared to a not modest Jewish girl is nothing to compare. God expects from his children a lot more from the rest of the world. The reason we made this topic tonight, because we are entering days that call days of Shovavim. Shovav in Hebrew means someone who does tricky, bad things. Like the kids, who is a ילד shovav? What a shovav kid? Making problems. Why it's called Shovavim? Because we are now going into the chapters in the Torah starting from Sefer Shmot. Okay? So Shmot, Va'era, Bo, Beshalach, Itro, Mishpatim. So the 6 parshiot that gives the abbreviation of the word Shovavim. According to Kabbalah only. You don't find it in Shulchan Aruch or in regular learning. It's mainly Kabbalistic thing. According to the Kabbalah, those weeks, also the days of Elul and the Aseret Yemei Teshuvah, are days that the male and female can make repentance easily, easier from the rest of the year. That's why many Jews fasting on Monday and Thursday now in the next 6 weeks. And they do tshuva, and they give tzedakah, and they learn about the holiness of the seed and the relationship. Many things to show Hashem, now I came to correct, help me out. Now, let's read some of the things that Rabbi Aaron Rata, Shomer Emunim, wrote in his book. It says like this. כל הגלות, all the exile, וכל הצרות, and all the problems, that what every person has in person, in private, and in general as a nation, is all coming because of that sin. Modesty and wasting seed. It's destroying the foundation and the life of every person. The Gemara said, the Rambam writes, that first of all, it makes the teeth weak, the roots of the teeth. It makes the person smell from his underarm. It makes bad smell to his gum and his breath. It makes his hair loose. He loses hair, even from his brows and from his eyelashes. That's how weak it makes the roots of the hair. It brings all kinds of sicknesses. It destroys the parnasah. The parnasah, the living. Person is looking for a job, he goes crazy months, he cannot find because of that sin. Even if he has a job, even if he makes a lot of money, he's seen no blessing in this money. There's no blessing in anything he does in his life. Why? Because of the horrible sin of Tikun Habrit. Annulling, that's the right word, annulling or annulling? Annulling the holiness of the covenant of the Brit Milah. There are 3 covenants that the Jewish nation made with God. Abbreviation Shabbat, Shin Bet Taf. Shin, Bet, Tav, Shabbat. Shin, for the word Shabbat. Ot iveniu v'nechem. Shamru bnei Israel et ha-Shabbat. What does the pasuk say? לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל. אות. Ot means a sign, an agreement. Ot I leolam. It's a sign for eternity that you are my children. That's one covenant. What's the second covenant? Brit Milah, circumcision. What's the next covenant? Tefillin. Those are the three commandments in the Torah that the word ot was used for them. Shabbat, you found the word ot. Brit Milah, vaya leot bebesar orlatchem. You find the word ot. Tefillin, vaya leot al yadecha. Three mitzvot. This is the three covenants that we made with Hashem. For a person to be a Jew, a kosher Jew, every day to belong to this VIP club who call Judaism, he has to have two witnesses that testify on him that he's a Jew, that he's a kosher Jew. So, if he keeps Shabbat every week, he has one witness. He keeps one covenant. If he puts tefillin every day, this is the second covenant. What's the third covenant? Brit Milah. Not that he was circumcised when he was 8 days old. No, that's his father mitzvah, not his. That when he grow up, he watch his Brit Milah, not to make sins with the girls and any other kinds of sin. This is a very important subject. So now, on Shabbat you don't put tefillin. So you have the Shabbat and the circumcision too. Weekdays you don't keep Shabbat. So you have tefillin and circumcision. So from the three covenants, which one is the most important one? The circumcision, the Brit. Why? It's 7 days a week, 365, all the time. Shabbat is every 7 days, this covenant. Tefillin, 6 days yes, 1 day no. Brit Milah, all the time. Now the girls here are thinking, well, in that case we can never be kosher Jews. We only keep Shabbat. Wrong. Yes, you don't put tefillin. One day when you get married, you become one unit with your husband. Your husband put tefillin, it counts in Shamayim, you put tefillin. Your children will put tefillin, it counts, you taught them, you raised them, you put tefillin. If you're not married, your soul is not completed. It can only be completed when the man and the woman unite. Up to now, you have completed. You cannot complete it. I said in my lecture a few days ago about the role of a woman in Judaism. You must watch this lecture. Once for all, you understand the level of a Jewish woman in Judaism. That the man is a male and the woman is a female. The man is compared to 6 days of the creation. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's the man. The woman in Judaism is Shabbat. Shabbat Amalka, it's female. Shabbat, in Hebrew, every word has male or female. Yom, Yom Yafeh, male. Shabbat Yafa, not Yafeh. Yafa means female. Woman is Shabbat, man is weekdays. That's why the woman doesn't have to keep the laws that applies to time, that are subject to time. Why? The woman is above time. She's 100% spiritual and connects to Hashem with no limitation right away. A man cannot connect to Hashem from now to another hour. No. It needs a lot of learning, lots of hard work until he feels connection. Woman doesn't need all that. 1, 2, 3 adjustments in her life, 2, 3 chapters of Tehillim, one good story by the rabbi, she begins to cry, she became Rachel Imenu. 1 hour. Shortcut. That's the way it is. Why? Because she connects to Hashem from the heart. And the man connects to Hashem mainly from the head, also from the heart, but mainly from the head, and it's much harder. The heart works right away. Many times I tell people certain things that the Torah say. In 20 years they don't understand what I say. They don't digest it. They say, I understand what you say 100%. I understand the logic. But my heart doesn't let me. The heart has a very, very big influence on our life. Usually for the bad. Usually it tells you to do the wrong thing all the time. So, we continue, it says like this. It's needless to say, not only brings so much problems and sicknesses to the life of a person here, it's needless to say what he's subject to in the afterlife for all these sins and all these drop wasted. And if he's not putting all his efforts to correct this sin, the Sitra Achra, the power of the devil, of the Satan, is getting their food from his mitzvot, because they are not complete. Yonkim mitorato mitzvotav. That a person that make mitzvot, but also violate these rules of the kedusha, of the holiness of the circumcision, the Sitra Achra, the Satan, they receive their power from his mitzvot. Why? Because of this sin. This is what we say in the Tefillah, Leman lo nigra larik. We say in the morning, Leman lo nigra larik velo neled la be'ala. Some people say, lo niga larik. That's mistake. You have to say, Gimel refuya, Leman lo nira, like the Iraqis speak, or the Persian. Why? Because niga means lagat, to touch. We are not talking about touching here. We're talking about hard effort. Niga comes from Lashon mityagea, yagea, ayef. Please don't make us lose our energy larik, for nothing. Make sure that our energy go to the right place. If you say niga larik, it's like you're saying, please don't make me touch for nothing. Touch what? The sentence lose the meaning of it. What does it mean larik? What does it mean larik? Otiyot keri. The seed. Pgam Habrit. Rik, if you flip the order of the words, of the letters, okay. A person has to cry a lot. The more he cry for the sin, the more he correct the sins. Why? A drop for a drop. Tears. What's the correction for that? In the old days, people used to fast for months. Months. Horrible corrections. Today, no one is in this level, like 500 years ago. So what's the only way to correct it today? Really, the only way. Please do not be fooled by all kinds of people who offer you to do all kinds of tikkunim by giving money and buying silver coins and all kinds of things like this. There's no hocus pocus in the Torah. You have to correct your own sin. Nobody will do the correction for you. So what do you have to do? Besides crying and begging Hashem to forgive you, first of all, right away to stop with the sin. Don't stop, what's the point? Trying to correct a hole while the water is dripping, it's impossible. You have to first stop the sin. Now you correct the damage you made. How? Learning hard level Torah. Don't run to the easy lectures to hear that you don't have to think. Oh, that's easy to understand. Learn Torah in high level. It corrects the sin. Why? Because the sperm of the man comes from the brain. The brain creates it. And if you see that a person look at things that is not supposed to, he creates a lot more. It's all 100% spiritual, who goes from the spine. It's 100% in the brain. So the damage is in the brain. That's where the soul is. And the Torah is in the brain, in the same place, like root canal, right attacking the root. You do everything around the root, it's not going to cure the tooth. It has to go to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is in the brain. The correction for wasting seed is Gemara, hard, Mishnayot, efforts, things that makes your brain sweat. That you feel, wow, my head is smoking already from such high level of learning. More and more and more until it purifies the soul of a person. Then, when a person finally cries with a broken heart, not because he lost $100 ticket today. He cries because it really upsets him that he got to such a low level to make such sins. Don't ever let the evil inclination fool you right after. Because most people that finally cry about the sin, the Satan takes advantage on a situation and comes to you and say how great you are. What a tzaddik. Look, no one in the shul cry like you in the prayer. You're the biggest tzaddik here, even bigger than the rabbi. Look, the rabbi, Yom Kippur, he didn't cry one drop of tears. You cry non-stop. You're the biggest tzaddik here. Next time you tell everyone they want bracha, they have to come to you. He has all these thoughts in his mind. Not only he didn't do a mitzvah, the sin of the pride is even worse than everything. Don't let him fool you. If you finally cry with a broken heart, which means you reach a high level, Don't ever let the Satan fool you, making you think you're righteous. Don't forget who you are. You are crying for a reason. You're not crying because the Mashiach didn't come. If you cry because the Mashiach didn't come, then you're really, really big tzaddik. If you cry because you murdered, you're not a big tzaddik. If you cry because you mechalel Shabbat, you're nothing. You're not a tzaddik. You must cry, and if you're not crying for that, that means you're not normal. Not because you're tzaddik. If you don't cry, something is wrong with you. A person just murdered 1,000 people by mistake by hitting the wrong number. He can go back to eat his sandwich. If he takes his sandwich and eats, that means this person is a monster. It's not normal. How can he eat when he knows he just killed 1,000 people? Person hit somebody with a car. He jumped into the road. It's his fault, but he died. Can you eat a month after? If you're a human being, no. If you're a monster, yeah. The Nazis putting babies in the oven 10 a minute, and they were eating the sandwich and hugging the dogs while they were doing it. And they never forgot to say Dankeschön. Maybe by mistake they won't be polite. Putting babies inside the gas. It didn't bother them, these monsters. You understand? Because you have to know one thing. To correct it in this life is much easier than to correct it in the afterlife. Because over here God is mixing a lot of mercy. Once the soul comes out of the body, no more mercy. Over there, there is no mercy in the court of heaven. Only in this physical world there is mercy. Over there, remember, there is no mercy. The Gemara says, Kol haomer HaKadosh Baruch Hu vatran yevatru me'av. If you dare over there to think that God will forgive your sin just because you have beautiful eyes, it will only make your situation worse. In Jerusalem and in many places in the world, the Chevrat Kadisha, that they are charged of the burials, they don't allow the men to follow the father's body into the cemetery. He only allowed to the gate of the cemetery. Then the rabbis over there say, who are the sons of this deceased man? Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of you stay out. Don't go into the cemetery. Why? Well, he wants to stand by his father's grave and say Kaddish and cry over there. No? Or to cover the body. Why you don't let him in? Why? Because we love him. We don't want to cause him damage. That's why we don't let him in. Why? Pay attention what's happening here. Every man who wastes seeds, every seed has millions of sperms. Millions. Each one of them is a potential neshama. Each one of them is a soul. Soul X, soul Y, soul D, soul L, soul A, whatever. Every one of them is a soul that's waiting to come to this world. One of them in the end will come to the world based on God's decision, depend who the parents, depend what's the act, if it's kosher act, not kosher act, And then God decides which soul will come to this wound of this woman. Which baby, how it's going to look, how is life going to be. Everything is decided based on the moments and everything that around the scenario. So now, when a person wastes his seed, all of it goes to the garbage. It creates black demons, black neshamot, that all of them are potential souls that's supposed to come to the world, and because of his father's sin, they didn't come to the world. But they are here. They never went to the garbage like some people think. They all remains and waiting for the day of his funeral. The Zohar say as soon as they put the body inside, they come to the soul of that person, like millions of them, and grab each one of them a piece of him with no mercy. You didn't give us a chance to come to the world because of your sins. If they see his own children going next to the body inside the cemetery, which is an impure place, they can damage them as well. That's why they don't let them in. Don't go in. You came to the world. They see you, they go crazy. It's a spiritual thing. We don't understand what it is. And we will never understand. We know a little bit. That's enough. Don't need more than that. The Ramchal say, why we don't know all the secrets of God? Why? Why we know a little bit? 2% here, 5% there, 10% there. Why we don't know all the secrets that we will know when we die? When we die, we will know everything. Right now, we understand very little about things that happen to our life, why we miss the bus, we miss the plane, I miss the shidduch, I got the shidduch, my friend has kids, I don't have, all kinds of things like this. We don't understand, we never understand. So the Ramchal say every person has a test that God designed for him. If he needs, whatever he needs to know in his life, God made sure he will know. Everything he doesn't know, it's better for him not to know. It would ruin his test. It would ruin his mission in life. This is on the individual points of view. But what about the general? There are certain things in the Torah we don't understand about the creation, how exactly it was. We will never understand. There are certain things about the afterlife we don't understand. There are certain things, what happened in this before the world was created? What will happen after the earth will be destroyed? All this, the world of the souls. There are certain things that we will never understand. The Gemara in Chagigah speaks about it. Certain things don't ask, because anyway you cannot understand. Why? This is where the Ramchal say, what God wanted you to know for your test, for your own benefits, He gave you permission to reach to that knowledge. If it's above your reach, above your understanding, don't worry. It's only curiosity. Don't be curious. It's better not to know. This is what happened when King Solomon had a person in his generation that begged him to teach him the language of the animals. Told him, no, it's not good for you. You don't need to know it. If God wanted people to know the language of the animals, He will make us understand their languages. It's not good for you. Yeah, every day. In the end, He said, okay, let me teach you. When the roosters go like this, toot, 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 it means this. This means, he told him all the things. Few days he came to learn, now he knows. He got the idea. One day he goes, he sees the chickens are talking. Today, a thief will break into our master's home and break into the safe and steal the money. He said, oh, what a great idea, I know their language. By the way, he put bars, waited with his gun over there, with his sword. The thief came, he said, wow, how this guy knew that I'm coming? Nothing. Next day it says, today the son of our master will walk in the street and fall and break his leg. Comes to his son, Moishi, today you have a day off from yeshiva. Abba, you crazy? You never let me take a day off, even when I have high fever. No, today you and I sitting home and eating cream cakes. You're not going anywhere. Now he got safe. He didn't go out of the house. He didn't break his leg. He said, King Solomon is telling me it's not good. My life is great since I know the language. Every day they warn me for my problems. 4 days later, the boy died. No, how he died? Before he died, he walked in the street and he heard that the chickens are talking. Today, the angel of death will come and take the soul of the boy. So he runs. What am I going to do? Now, what can you do? You put bars? They won't help. So he comes to King Solomon and say, you fool, you see, if you wouldn't know the language of the animals, what would happen? They break into your house, they steal the money from the safe. You feel horrible. You say, God, what sin did I make that you did this to me? Okay, let me do vidu, chatati, I'm sorry, no problem, I'll give more tzedakah, I won't steal anymore from my employees. I promise, I'll be good. Then you wouldn't have to break his leg and he wouldn't have to die. Now what happened? You prevented that. So he give you a bigger hint. You prevented that. No more hint, my friend. You understand what's happening? Just when you think you want to know more, think again. Maybe it will be against yourself. Time is running out. Give me 2-3 more minutes to conclude here. A person has to know one of the ways of the Satan is after the person made that horrible sin, he takes his spirit all the way down and he falls into depression, what we call marash chora, black bitterness. Why is it? Because the way of the Satan is like this. First he make the sin, and then he become a tzaddik all of a sudden. He give you a musar drasha in your head. What a sinner, shame on you. He was the one who made you make the sin. And right after that, he goes into your head and say, what a sinner, dirty, shame on you, you walk with your beard and yarmulke. Imagine if I publish you to the whole world, they know what a sinner you are. And it makes you so depressed. And you now don't want to get up for davening, you lay in bed. What happened? Itzik, get up. No, Mom, leave me alone, I'm depressed, I'm sick. Don't talk to me for a week now. Doesn't pray, doesn't learn Torah, doesn't care. Why? Because this is what he wants to get. The depressions who follows the sin, even though it's the most horrible sin. The depression who comes after that is a bigger sin. First he make you lose 100, and then he bury you with 1,000. Why? Because a person must be always happy. אחד מן העיקרים הגדולים, one of the biggest principles, and a very important individual way to correct the sin is to be in simcha, in happiness, never to be sad, because that's bring more impurity to your life. As soon as you make the sin, right away begins your tshuva. Don't fall into depression. Right away. And now you may thinking, okay, I make a sin, make tshuva, make a sin, make tshuva. I'm tired of this. How many thousands of times? Up, down, what's better? Just to go down, 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 down? At least up, down. You're floating above the water eventually. This is the advice of the Satan. What are you making tshuva? Anyway, in 2 days you do it again. You're a single guy, it's Hashem's fault. It's not your fault. Don't worry, Hashem will understand you. Why? You're already 27. For 6-7 years you were looking for a girl. Every one of them turned you down. You do everything you want to get married. You call the shatchanim. You're giving all your life for it. Hashem doesn't give you shidduch. Let him deal with the problem. That's how the Satan draw it in your head. It's not your fault, you tzaddik. How many guys like you in Israel are watching the Brit? Don't let him fool you. No discounts when you come. But I'm 40, 20 years. A few times in the past I said this story. My heart tells me that it's the right place now to say it again. One time I get a phone call from a person not from New York State. So don't suspect each other. A person from a different state. And he said to me, I heard your lecture about Shlom Bayit, peace in a family, and I feel horrible. I say, why? I say, maybe I did horrible things to my wife. I say, what did you do? He said, maybe I did not do the right thing. I say, why? What's the problem with your wife? He said, listen, now when I heard you how a husband has to behave to his wife, I know some of these things I'm not doing. I said, be more specific. Give me an idea what you're saying. So he said, listen, I got married 20-something years ago. I don't remember, 22, 24, something like that. And I have 3 children. But only one of them came from natural relation between me and my wife. Why? Because after the marriage, I was with her once, and after that time, she never ever let me touch her one more time in intimate way. That was the first and last time. One time she became pregnant, and after that, in order for us to have more children, we had to do it through a lab. Why? Right away, the story looks very shocking to me. I said, but what's happened? He told her something, she had a trauma, maybe she was raped one day. It has to be a psychological problem. So I will never know the answer. But this is what happened. So for 20-something years I lived with her. She never let me touch. So I say to him, but who told you that you have to stay with her? It's against the halakha. You had to get divorced a long time ago. Wow, what kind of man can live with a woman in the same bedroom, in the same house, 22 years? She doesn't let him touch her, and who knows how many sins you're doing out there? So then he told me perhaps the most shocking thing I heard in my entire life. Believe me, I was shaking when I heard that. He told me, oh, no, God forbid, not this. I don't make any sins out there. I'm very careful with that. I know how horrible is this. I will never make that sin. So I asked him, I told him, what are you saying? That you live with your wife for 20-something years in the same house, she doesn't let you touch her, and you never ever made any waste of seed ever since then until now? Is this what you're saying? I say, yes. I never did it even once, Baruch Hashem. I'm very careful with that. I'm very afraid of Hashem. I'm never going to do such a thing. So I told him, you're calling me to tell me that you may be not good to you. Why? If I be like you, I beg you to give me bracha. You are Yaakov Avinu of this generation, I say to him. Only the Torah speaks about Yaakov Avinu, 86 years old. First drop of seed was his son Reuven. Never made a sin once. This is in the Torah. not stories over the phone by Rabbi Mizrachi. This is in the Torah. With this you can argue, but I swear to you, this is what happened. This man, I say to him, I'm shocked. And maybe the whole nation is survived thanks to this man. You know what it means? Yosef HaTzadik was with a pretty woman for not a long time. 1 year maybe, the most. Then he went to jail for 12 years. Then he became the king of Egypt. But he was with her for a few months. And the Torah is praising him so much. She changing clothes, putting perfume. A man is 22 years with his own wife, permitted. Eshet Potifar, Goya, she's trying to make a sin with him, but I'm afraid of Hashem. No, run away. Avoiding her, no, fine. And Hashem say, Yosef is a tzaddik. Hashem put a stamp on him, tzaddik. What other person in the Torah Hashem called him Yosef a tzaddik? Or somebody the tzaddik? No one. Only Yosef. Why? Because he had that test of Tikkun Habrit. And guess what? This man who called me, this is it. We have people like this in the world. If he can, that means everybody else can. So of course, not to fall into depression, you should know that every time a person makes it, he destroys buildings. He takes away the spiritual light from his life. He's affecting the entire creation. And horrible things is destroying and spoiling and defecting the name of God. The spiritual light that comes from the name of God. Is making the power of the Sitra Achra, of the Satan, much stronger in the world. And all these things starts with one thing. Why? That he looks at the ladies when he's not supposed to, he's not allowed to. If he would watch his eyes, it will never happen. It all starts with the eyes. Watch your eyes. No bad internet site, no bad movies. There's no kosher movies today. Don't let anyone fool you. There's no kosher movie. Even History Channel, cartoons, they have not modest figures. Not modest talking, not modest ideas. Even Discovery Channel, they see relation between male and female. It's also bringing bad thoughts. It's not kosher. A Jew cannot go into secular television. Cannot go. Not to talk about internet and any other clips that they put today. It's just not kosher. You have to decide, you want to be with Hashem or you want to be half enough. Half enough, maybe you have half heaven, half the other place. If you're lucky. You cannot leave one leg in a real world and one leg in Sodom. One leg in Bet HaMikdash, one leg in Sodom and Gomorrah. Cannot be. You understand? And the ladies should know one thing. Many of the sins that men do is 100% their fault. But many of the sin they do, you are just as guilty. Which means, one woman can be much more guilty than a man. Because one man made a sin because of her, he gets his punishment, she gets the same punishment. But what happened if 500 guys looked at her today on the street walking with their high-heeled shoes, walking like this, suffering 5 hours to attract attention, like this? Hard to believe how women would suffer so much to attract attention. It's crazy, crazy. How much? And if the skirt is very tight, now double suffering. Not only she cannot walk, she bends like this. You know, now she wants to get up. What happened? Help me out, I can't walk. Why? 5 hours until she wore the skirt. Why? That maybe another Jose or amigo would look at her and say, ooh, ¿qué pasa, amiga? How stupid we can be. It's crazy. Mama stupid. And we are stupid not because we are naturally stupid. No. We have the enough intelligence Hashem gave us. We just don't use it. We think that this compliment that she gives, the Gemara said there was one tall woman, she puts rings, bells in her shoes. Why? And she walks in the street with 2 midgets, girls, you know, very short girls, and she's very tall. It's very interesting. It seems to me that the taller the girl is, the taller the heels is. Should have been the other way around. If you're very, very tall, you don't want heels like this. What do you want to be, a giraffe? There's no limit how tall they want to be, like the Empire State Building, walking on the street. Well, the short girls, I understand why they have heels. Fine. They want to look a little bit taller, but the tall ones, she's 6'5" already. She has like this, another 10 inches. What's going on? It's hard to believe. It's all in the head. What society, the rotten society sell, the magazine she looks in, drive her crazy. To attract ourselves to Hashem, we got to get clean from all this dirt around us. It's affecting us, it's destroying us, and then we'll pay the price. Chaval. I will finish with 1 minute story. One time I went to Queens Boulevard, and the owner of the restaurant, he comes to me, say, I have something, fresh bread for you. Lechem tari yashar min hatanur, which means easy target. A guy, curly hair, Yemenite guy, has a bag on his back, just came from the east, somewhere, I don't know where he was, India, Costa Rica, I don't know where he came from. So he has this tarmil on his back, jeans, curly hair like this. He's in a restaurant. Here, meet. Yeah, Oren, nice to meet you. Secular guy. So take him to the yeshiva. He doesn't have where to be. He needs a place to sleep. He needs some good meals to eat. He doesn't mind to learn Torah, no? So the guy, he doesn't care now, Torah, not Torah. He's thinking, where will I sleep tonight? And right away, the sheriff arrived. Come, we'll take you, don't worry, we'll take you to jail. You'll have a place to sleep. So I say, you want to come with me to Muncie? He say, what's Muncie? I say, it's about an hour away from here, north. Beautiful place, trees, nice. It was, you have lake over there, you have a soccer field. I don't start right away Torah, yeshivot, Gemara. I see how he looks. So I'm thinking, what this guy like? I says, good restaurant, everyone speak Hebrew there. Wow, he has a place like this here? I say, yeah. So, you also learn Torah a little bit. They teach you interesting things in yeshiva. You're thinking, say, you know what, why not? Let me try. Okay, have your stuff? He say, yeah, that's all I have, this bag. I say, let's go. On the way there, on the Palisades Parkway, he looks at me, he say, you probably everyone there is black, huh? Black hats, this, like Bnei Brak, like Mea Sha'arim. I say black more than you can imagine. Now it's too late, my friend. You with me. What are you going to do? Get off of the Palisades? He said, wow, maybe I should have thought more. I said, don't worry. You'll be there 1 week. You don't like it? I'll bring you back to the restaurant of your friend. So, okay, fair deal. I brought him to the yeshiva, finished. A month later, maybe a month and a half later, I come to the yeshiva, I bring another guy, 1 o'clock at night, I hear in the yeshiva noise. In the room of the yeshiva, the dome is upstairs. I hear from the hallway, who's in the yeshiva? 1 o'clock, everyone's supposed to be sleeping now. I hear crying. I see this guy that I brought a month and a half ago, sitting on the floor with the Sefer Torah, do Tikun Chatzot, crying for Bet HaMikdash, forget about it, beard like this. Mamash holy person he became. Another few weeks later, I walk in the street, he comes in front of me. I walk like this. Mamash, I'm 10 steps in front of him. He ignores me. I walk. Mamash, I'm now almost face to face with him. I say, Oren, who is this? He takes his glasses, he put his glasses on. Oh, Mizrachi! Sorry. I say, you don't see anything without your glasses? He said, nothing. I said, so why don't you walk with your glasses? He said, I watch my eyes. Don't want to see by mistake a woman, everything. I'm working on my holiness. So I told him, but you're in Muncie. At that time at least, 12, 13 years ago, you didn't find anybody not modest on the street in that time. Today, you cannot swear on it anymore. So I say, what, so you walk like this, you don't see anything? Like a blind person. Say, yeah, better like this, by mistake, I don't see anyone. Maybe 2-3 months he was in yeshiva at that time. So I said to him one day, what about shidduch? You don't want to get married? He said, no, not here. Here I want to learn. The day I decide to go to Israel, then I would like to get married. I promise you, one day he comes to me and say, next week I'm going to Israel. That's it. I already found yeshiva in the north, in Israel. The day he landed in Israel, a week later he was engaged. And who? To someone very good, that I know very well here, his sister. Got engaged right away. And you have to understand, the chance that somebody like this will find a girl is 1 to a billion. What girl will want such a holy man? She know, me and him is not in the same league. Watch his eyes, beard like this, like the Yemenite from 500 years ago. Became like a Tana, this guy. What a serious avodat Hashem. In a few months, what people do not do in 30 years, he did in 3-4 months, this guy. Such holiness, I was scared to stand around him. Much like this, and I'm not exaggerating. Shmirat ha'einayim. If you do what he did, watch your eyes, everything else will come and absorb into your soul and remain there right away, and you see completely change in your life. Complete. But if you continue 1 day Torah, 1 day looking, 1 hour Torah, 2 hours looking, 3 hours Torah, 3 hours looking, it's like putting the teapot on the fire. 20 minutes, taking it off, 2 minutes, taking it off, 3 minutes, taking it off. The water didn't boil 1 time in 20 years. That's what it is. Any questions before we finish? Yes.
How do you get saved from Brooklyn to Queens? From Brooklyn to Queens, how do you get from one place to the other safely?
From Brooklyn to Queens, how you?
Without damaging your eyes, without looking somewhere.
You drive on a highway. Huh?
When you get to the shul that you're trying to get to, you see all kinds of women. I mean, how are you supposed to watch your eyes?
First second is not affecting you. First second. If you drive and Christine jumped into the road while she's jogging, first second you saw her. Then you don't look at her anymore. You turn your face or you close your eyes. You understand? After the first second, it's a sin and it's affecting you. Before that, it's not affecting you. I just want to remind everyone, this coming Shabbat, we have a weekend seminar for Hebrew speakers, for beginners only, for secular people, non-Shomer Shabbat. If you have any relative, friends that speak Hebrew, it's 60-70% subsidized. About $100 and something, you get 2 nights in a nice hotel in Jersey with glad kosher food, best lecture, another great speaker, Tzvika Ben David, coming from Israel, and myself. It's going to be a great one weekend of proofs, one after the other. Anyone secular you know speaks Hebrew, please let me know. In my Facebook pages. If you don't have Facebook, please don't get into it. Much more bad come from it than good. But if you already own it, at least come to the right place. In my Hebrew page, Baruch Hashem, we have 53,000 and change people, which generate more than 2 million views every month, Baruch Hashem. The English is much, much slower, Baruch Hashem. In one way, I'm happy. That means the Americans here that comes to the lecture became already more religious. What's the point of having it? This is a tool to make people religious. So it's 2,500 people, which generate more than 150,000 views, which means they are much more serious people, percentage-wise. Anyone you know is already on the Facebook and is going to bad pages, is not religious, please recommend him my page. We put every hour or two something there, clips, YouTube clips, articles, and many people started to become religious from these pages. And also I recommend all kinds of lectures that we put on the website. All the lectures that I'm making right now, the next day they're already on my website, which means this lecture tomorrow afternoon will already be in divineinformation.com. In about a week or so, it will go also to Torah Anytime. This is perhaps the only 2 lectures that get all the 2 websites that get all my lectures. There's other websites who have a lecture here, a lecture there, but if you want to watch all the lectures, these are the 2. Yes?
Is the severity looking at women the same when you're dating?
Okay, well, I have a whole lecture about dating, kosher dating. It's a whole different story. Person go with a girl on a date is allowed to look at her beauty and check her very carefully to know if he likes her or not. What's the point? You're coming to the date. What's going on? No, I watch my eyes. They told me you understand me. So why you came to the date? No problem. Next time my father will ship me in a UPS box. You get me open at the next day of the wedding. What do you need me? A person must love his future wife. After 3 dates, if he doesn't have attraction to her at all, he has to break the shidduch. Don't let any shadchan or any rabbi or rabbi tzen mess up your life. First date, second date, maximum third date. By the third date, after sitting 2 hours, 2 hours and 2 hours, it's plenty of time to start developing emotions. If not even a little bit starts in the heart, no attraction, no love. Sometimes you go with a girl on a date, 2 hours, you already say, wow, when can we get married already? And even she feels, wow, it's a man of my dream. So you know right away, it's perfect shidduch. Sometimes it takes 2-3 dates. And if after 3 dates it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean it will never happen. There's still a chance that it will happen after 15, 17 years. But who wants to take the risk? Already now is a more than 50% chance that it will never happen. You want to live with a woman or with a man 30 years in a house when you don't have feelings for them? The beauty of the marriage is not only to have kids and share the bills. The beauty of it is to know you come home and you have a wife that you missed all day. And when 5 hours you're not with her, it drives you crazy, or the other way around. And if it's not happening, something is not right there. And sometimes it's not right because of your behaving. But many times it's not right because in the beginning it wasn't meant to be. If you ask me if a person can marry his wrong soulmate, the answer is yes. People marry the wrong shidduch. And the Zohar say, and the Stipler said in one of his drashot, that you can be married to a woman all your life and you don't belong to each other. And you have kids and it's all against Hashem's will. Right? It doesn't interfere with your... People warn you. They told you it's not the right one for you. You wanted to do it because of the money, because of different reason. Now you're paying the price. You missed up your chance in life. So it can happen. Yes, it can happen. So to check the wife that she's for you in a first date is allowed. But after that, you don't need to. You already know she's pretty. What do you need? What happened? From yesterday to today, she became ugly for you? No. You have to check. And make sure on the first day you go to a place there's light. Why? Because sometimes you go, it's dark, you don't see the color of the eyes, you don't really see the face, you don't see that much. You see everything dark. And then later, all of a sudden, you meet at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the girl? That's not what I thought. I didn't think. You understand? So yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not joking. In this generation, people are very shallow. What's the right word? Shallow, emptiness, full of emptiness. And they pay a lot of attention to the look. It's not what it used to be. People in all generation, they knew marriage is much more into look and relation. No. Today, it's not the case. That's why it's just not going to work. What's the point? There's so much divorce. To have more and more divorce? Don't get married until you're feeling that you love the girl that you're going to marry, or that you love the guy. Not just because he's a great tzaddik and he knows so much Gemara. It's important. But you want someone who knows Gemara, you can go be the maid in the house of Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. Don't need a husband for that. No problem. One woman married Rabbi Kaduri. She was 30 years old. He was 105. Why did she marry him? To have a husband? He hardly walk. 5 people carry him. So he couldn't be a husband. Why she married him? To serve the tzaddik. If that's what you want to get married for, then you don't care who you marry. You just find a tzaddik, no problem, in a phone book. One of the babo to put ads. Tzaddik is coming to town. You can go offer him to marry him and serve him. Now, marriage has to be real, kosher, with lots of passion and anxiety in life, one for each other. Life has to be full of feelings and all kinds of things that marriage should be. It's not a bad word. The opposite. The Torah speaks highly about relationship between husband and his wife, and always to renew it and to make things better and better. Any more questions? Okay, so like I say, thank you very much to Yaniv and to Chazak for another beautiful event. Well, I'm glad that many people came today, but please, on the next event we should have on February 5th, not only that all of you should come, make sure each one of you bring at least 2 more people. So like this, maybe we'll move downstairs. Thank you very much. Good night.